Yesterday, Steph Curry dropped 52 points. He outdueled Ja Morant. The Warriors beat the Grizzlies. It was a very pivotal game for the Warriors that continued to win games after the trade with Jimmy Butler contributing. And last night we saw Steph Curry just go crazy once again. He wasn't getting the calls. He wasn't complaining, but this guy just is an absolute dog. I mean, someone that you can count on every given night to make a couple threes, and then sometimes he explodes. And last night we saw that from Steph Curry. 52 points for Curry, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, 1 block, 16 for 31 from the field, and 12 for 20 from beyond the arc. I was a little disappointed just because I did want to see him pass Klay Thompson for the most three-pointers ever in a game, which is 14. But I mean, just look at that game. 52, 10, 8, 5, 12 threes, a steal, 5 steals, a block. How many players have had that in the history of the game? Here's the list. Steph Curry, end of list, right? So this is someone that is always kind of gets into gear in April as far as peaking at the right time of year. And it's not like it's irrelevant basketball, right? This is a Warriors team that was floating around being a play-in team, floating around being a team that was not in contention, and they're a team that no one's going to want to play in the playoffs. You look at where they stand right now. They have the 5 seed in the West. They're ahead of Memphis now, and oh my goodness, could you just imagine getting a Lakers-Warriors first round, LeBron versus Steph Curry? But Steph is someone that is very interesting. We're going to talk about where he stands. Is he a top 10 player? How influential is he? But Steph absolutely carried that team to a victory last night. The Warriors, they are absolutely eating with Jimmy Butler in the fold. And they're a team, like I said, if I want to see, if all we can get is Lakers versus Warriors, I like the Lakers in that matchup. I think you want to see the Warriors over the Grizzlies if you're the Lakers, quite frankly. But here was Steph Curry after the game talking about another virtuoso performance from the greatest shooter to ever live.
I'll be honest, I had actually forgot that fact. I was just kind of more focused on how big this game was for us. The intentionality that we came out in the first quarter was just a great game plan to understand how they guard us. I thought about their style. They try to junk up the game on defense, top blocks, and trying to send me into the paint and traffic and all that. We had a counter for that to start the game. But other than that, it was just trying to win a big game and embracing the moment.
Exactly. It's about embracing the moment, as he said. And I look back, the last time, this is how valuable Steph Curry is. The last time the Warriors played Memphis, he had exactly 0 points. The Warriors lost by 50. They lost by 50. He had to drop 52 to get that win last night. That wasn't a massive blowout win. The end up being a 134-125 game. But I also want to point out, too, it was not just Steph Curry for the Warriors. And that's why you have to be excited for Dub Nation, because last night you had Jimmy Butler with a quiet 27 on just 11 shots, 12 for 12 from the free throw line. You had Draymond Green, 13 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds. Great defense on Jaren Jackson Jr. This Warriors team is galvanizing at the right time. Steph Curry is getting hot at the right time, doing Steph Curry things. It's incredible to see the career that he's put together. And I see a lot of debate. On, is he a top 10 player? Is he a top 15 player? Where does Steph Curry stand? I mean, you look at the most ever 30-point games by someone over 30, and it's Steph Curry. He has done things after what looked like a career that was going to be plagued by injury that are really unthinkable. I mean, the most 40-point games after turning 30 in NBA history, 44 for Michael Jordan, 41 for Steph Curry. So he's even climbing Michael Jordan for the most 40-point games. So he's been absolutely unbelievable. And the question is he a top 10 player of all time? So I've been thinking about this over the last couple of weeks. I was on an airplane to Japan. I had really nothing to do. Sometimes I just raw dog it on the plane. Like literally no movies, no TV shows. I just sit there.
You sit, no way.
I swear, I sit there and I watch the flight tracker and I write notes on my phone. I'm telling you, everyone's like this thing on the neck, 10 Cokes and like all this stuff. I don't know, for whatever reason, I like the flight tracker because I don't like turbulence. That's a fun fact.
I could agree with that.
I do not like turbulence. You know what I mean?
Either.
So I like to anticipate it. Right? I like to anticipate it. Right? It could be the craziest turbulence, and I'm the only guy looking around. Everyone's like chilling. I'm like, how you guys chilling? Right? For me, if I'm just flight trackering on my phone, I'm just like chilling. You know what I'm saying?
So you're not even maybe a beer at the bar before you get
I have done beers at the bar for sure. I've gotten that little champagne bottle one time on the plane because it was my birthday.
Okay.
But for me, I always order ginger ale or tomato juice. That's my that's my plain order. What's your plain drink order?
Actually, mine is I usually get a tea. Like when they come back for that final descent, I usually get a tea before I get off. And then usually to start, I'm pretty simple too. I'm about a ginger ale or a water guy, man. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, no, ginger ale cracks because you're never gonna get that in real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna go to like Vaughn's and pick up a 12-pack of ginger ale. That's like, I'm pretty sure they only have it on planes. But yeah, most 50-point games after turning 30, including playoffs. Steph 11, Jordan 9, Wilt Dame with 7. So the question is he a top 10 player of all time? And the reason I just brought up what I brought up is I was thinking to myself this, because the top 10 debate happens all of the time. And the question is, who are the locks? Who are the guys that you just can't debate out of it? Because once you get there, it becomes a part of, okay, well, you're talking about 3 or 4 guys. So for me, I look at the tiers. Who are the inarguable players? The ones you can't debate are on that top 10 list. To me, there's 3 guys: MJ, LeBron, and Kareem. So that gives you 7 players to choose from. And then the next group, Bird and Magic. That puts you at 5. Bird, 3 straight MVPs. Magic, one of the best players ever, the best point guard ever. He, at his peak, was right up there at the top tier for players. And you also have to look at who the best players of those generations. Then you're already at 5. And then next, how can you keep Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell out of the top 10? Can you really leave out the 2 most dominant players of their era? 2 of the most dominant players ever. I mean, does the era really negate the fact that Bill Russell won 11 titles? 11 titles is crazy. If it was like 4 or 5, if it was 6 or 7, it'd be okay, cool. Got a bunch of white dudes running around in Converse and booty shorts and driven like you say, you do your battle. But 11's crazy. 11 is crazy. And then Wilt Chamberlain, he set essentially every personal statistical record the game had ever seen at that point. So that puts you at 3, 5, 7. So that leaves you at 7 players to me that are locks for the top 10. That means you can only choose 3 of the next 5 legends. I think Kobe, Duncan, Shaq, Hakeem, maybe Jerry West, but I think he's kind of fallen in that next tier. And then I think the question is KD or Curry, right? I think Steph Curry, when you look at the volume, he's 25th. He's 25th in scoring, right? So the volume numbers don't support his case, but the influence, the big shots, the way that he's changed the game, I think the debate is between KD and Steph Curry to who rounds out that top 10. And by the end of their careers, I think it's certainly someone that you have to include in that list. But clearly, I mean, you're going to keep, you're not going to put Steph over Kobe. Or you're not going to put Steph over Duncan or Shaq, right? So, I mean, I think maybe he's at 11 or 12. But we'll see what he does for the rest of his career. But that's kind of how I look at it. It's like everyone debates their top 10, but I'm like, you're being your top 3 outside of the locks. You know what I mean?
Give him a case at Tim Duncan at least. I feel like he's close to Tim Duncan.
But the thing about Duncan was so good defensively. You can't discount. I mean, he was literally the best defender for a long time. He also made crazy clutch shots too. I think for me, does Steph Curry win those 2 titles without KD? When he was the best, KD was the best player on the court for the Warriors. I think that giving Andre Iguodala the Finals MVP was one of the worst and dumbest things the NBA media has ever done.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
So he should have a Finals MVP, and then he got his against the Celtics. But yeah, I mean, look, I think Duncan. It kind of goes to the thing like where Duncan is almost like his generation's Jokic.
Yeah.
Where market not the sexiest, style. I mean, just kind of the player himself. It's not like someone who's going to make headlines and say things they're going to excite you. He's not going to sell sneakers, right? So But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I do think that what Steph has going for him is you're gonna have a lot of players that have more counting stats than him.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be like, no one would ever put him in the conversation with Carmelo Anthony or James Harden.
Right.
Guys like that who are gonna have more overall points than him. But yeah, look, the good thing about Steph Curry is my man has just beat the washed allegations again. LeBron's beat the washed allegations again. And we could see those two in the first round. That is absolutely what I'm hoping for.